구정 명절을 맞아 가족과 함께 따뜻하고 행복한 시간을 보내시길 바랍니다. 이번 영상은 제가 아마 몇 년 전에 올렸던 영상 같은데, 우리 3T 알루미늄 3T 맞대기를 하고 인장 강도 테스트를 하는 영상입니다. 우리 외국인들 보러 오신 분이 브레이크시 웃겨서 제가 영상 올려봅니다. 레이저 용접 부위는 멀쩡한데 우리 당김 테스트를 할 때 모재가 찢어집니다. 이번 영상은 Ipg 포토닉스사의 조이 로이 님이 제가 아마 2021년도 4월달부터 저분 영상을 보고 우리 라이트 웰드에 대해서 참 공부를 했는데, 저분이 우리 라이트 웰드의 특성과 여러가지 우리 라이트 용접에 대한 메카니즘, 작동 원리, 구조 이런 뜻입니다. 펄스파와 연속파 파장 등 명절 연휴에 시간 나실 때, 제가 아마 금요일날 영상을 올릴 건데 명절이라서 특별히 한번 마음 편안하게 영상 끝까지 한번 보시면 레이저 용접 많이 배우십니다.
Power to transform.
For some of the mechanics of laser welding, there's a couple of different techniques and there's a couple of ways to look about how you're going to perform said weld with your laser. So you have conduction welding, which is usually meant as a cosmetic weld. You're going to use lower powers, which means you're going to get shallower penetration. The materials you would use for this kind of welding would be galvanized, copper, or brass, reflective materials. Then we have keyhole welding, which is going to use higher powers and higher strengths. Now you're going to get a deep penetration weld, so you might be getting up to the top 50% of the power on your machine. These are going to create clean, strong welds, and the positive attributes of having a clean, strong weld with a laser is that you're going fast and you're not creating a lot of heat affected zone. So that speed translates over into very little heat input, which means very little deformation of your part. And finally, when you're using the actual torch, you've got to remember you're never going to be in the push motion with your laser welder. You're always going to be in the pull. You're going to be pulling towards your body so that the laser is translating across the part while the gas is showering it and keeping it non-oxidized. Welding isn't better or worse than arc welding, it's just different. So with arc welding, you're welding with electrons, and that has its advantages and disadvantages. When you're welding with a laser, you're welding with photons, and again, advantages and disadvantages. So let's talk about the machine itself. What actually is a light weld? It is a diode pumped fiber optic infrared laser. Now I know that's a lot, and a lot of you won't understand what that means. So let's just break it down to what it really truly is. It is a high-powered form of directed light. And when we bring that light down to a focused point, you're actually able to weld pretty significant material with it, down to about a ½ inch. So let's go over some of the key parts that we want to learn. You're going to be welding at faster speeds. You are most importantly going to be putting much less heat into your part. You're going to have very little post-production work because the fillets are going to come out so nice that you're not going to have to do a lot of grinding or post work after the actual welding process. And you can weld all sorts of different types of materials. Remember, laser welding isn't for everything. The wheelhouse of this technology is mostly for sheet metal fabrication, which is basically what arc welding doesn't do very well. So if you use this machine for its specific applications in your fab environment, you're going to be quite successful. Remember, laser welding isn't better, it's just different. Okay, let's talk about the different types of laser welding. You have pulse welding and you have continuous wave. What are the differences between those two things? Now, you're already used to pulse welding. You do that with arc welding already. You'll be using anywhere from 30 to 50% duty cycle. And just like in arc welding, it's meant to control heat. When you're doing 100% duty cycle, that's called, in the laser world, that's called continuous wave. So you are welding your part at 100% duty cycle, which gives you the ability to go very fast.
Hello everyone. This is Joseph Roy from Ipg Photonics from the United States. I'm here in Florence, Italy at the Tesserini Welding Supply Company, and we just finished up an open house where we brought a lot of Tesserini's end users in and some of their capital clients to go over the Lightweld XC handheld laser welding system. We had a very successful show. We performed a lot of different applications today. We did galvanneal, we did stainless steel, we did aluminum, and we did all sorts of different parameter settings and applications development for the end users. What we most importantly did though was educated all of his end users on safety, because this is a very important position that IPG and Tesserini want to make perfectly clear to the end users, is that using a infrared handheld laser welding system is a very safe endeavor. So how do we start off with this? Well, first of all, we talk about the 6 layers of safety that is intrinsic with the Lightweld platform: the back reflection alarms, the plasma alarms, the convergent and divergent optics. We go over all of this with his end users, but most importantly, we go over the personal protective equipment, the PPE. We start off by educating them on using the laser safe helmet. We make sure that they're wearing their laser gloves, they are protecting their arms, and making sure that they are most importantly using their laser safe glasses. So after we give them a very quick safety overview, then we get right into the cell and we get their hands on the gun, because honestly the best way to sell the Lightweld after you educate them on the safety is to make sure they actually try the equipment. Now, why do we really push them trying the equipment? We do this because it's very easy to use. You can teach somebody how to use the Lightweld platform in under 10 minutes. So once they are educated on that, we bring their applications in, we help them along with our laser engineers that are on site working with Tesserini, and then we move forward with anything that the end user wants to do. So if you want to learn more about working with Tesserini and IPG Photonics and this partnership that we are developing, just go to tesserini.it.
Okay, so you have the laser in your fabrication environment. One key personnel you're going to need is the laser safety officer. What do? They're there for your safety. They're making sure everybody is wearing proper personal protective equipment. They're making sure everybody is properly trained. And most importantly, they're there as a group to make sure that all proper protocols and procedures are being followed. They're there for your safety.
2025년도 한 해도 건강하시고 하시는 일 모두 건승하시기를 진심으로 기원합니다. 제 영상이 아니고 우리 RPG사 영상이었습니다. 명절 잘 보내시고 저는 또 금요일 날 다른 영상으로 인사드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.